right click on my pipe. I would go to take off with tap. And then I could select my size in the options bar. So in here, a 1/2 inch, and I'd pull it like this. Escape, escape. It puts the generic in first, and then it will process the fittings for us. Now, the only issue with this workflow is it makes it so only one user can use the pipe type, because what it's doing is it goes in the background settings for the routing preference, and it switches it to back and forth between tap and T. So if you have two people using the same pipe spec, it ends up creating a lot of issues for you. If I come in here and I draw a T now, it'll reset. It'll reset it back to T's in that routing preference. But as you guys know, only one person can own that pipe routing preference while you're modeling. Switches back to T. And so one of the things we do, I just relabeled and synced up some of our temporary pipe specs. So we'll typically we'll have a temp groovelet, temp threadelet, and temp weldelet pipe types in here. That way, anytime we need to get one in there, we'll just copy pipe around. And those pipe types are set to always put in, whether it's a threadelet, groovelet, or a weldelet. So if I switch my pipe types in here, I set it to threadelet, then it's just always going to pull that threadelet. Now, once it's in place, we just switch it back. If it doesn't get switched back, it's not the end of the world because it's just set to register as small bore copper. Once it gets switched, it would do that anyways. Now, if you guys ever put it in here, if you delete your pipe, your threadelet will stay. If you try to separate it, it will break the connection and get rid of that tap. So if I ever want to keep this pipe and cut other things in, I'll just split it and delete that portion out. That way this stuff stays connected and we have our pipe and we could start getting nipples, what have you in there. Most of the time, honestly, I just model one setup and I copy and paste it everywhere for how we're going to have the clear flow valve adapter down to the copper.
Okay. So for example, what I'm going to end up doing is going through the central plants, and I noticed that there were no threadelets for thermometers, gauges, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So all I really need to do is simply place threadelets. So is this the way to place a threadelet and then just get rid of the copper?
To quickly get threadelets, if I was looking at a header, I would just take a pipe, copy it, and rotate it 90, and then change it to the size and the temporary spec I want. Oh, I'm pushing on the wrong keyboard. That makes all the difference. Rotate it in place, change my size and spec, and then just delete the pipe out. So if it was 1 inch at the top, threadelet, pull it here, trim extend to the side. If I need it on the other side, copy, change size. Change size here, and trim extend. If the taps are all that I want, I would come back in and get rid of the pipe. And stuff like this too, taps like to disappear within Revit if you're using those. So anytime I'm moving the line that has one attached to it, I always just keep an eye on it and make sure that nothing's gonna disappear on us. Like this pipe here, if I move it up past, let's see if it tries to remove it. Oh, no, one of the few times it stayed, nice. But now it's disconnected, so we'd have to replace it or move it in place.
Okay. So if you're in a section view, for example, if we could pretend that we're in section right now, and you wanted to have a threadlet coming straight out at you, is the only way to do that from the side rather than have it coming straight towards you?
Yeah, so for things like that, I would I just rotate my section forward. Typically we're not really modeling in three-dimensional views, but it sounds like you guys might be.
No, we're not. But if I'm looking straight at, again, let's just say right now, I know it looks like we're in plan, but if we were in section and you wanted to have a threadlet coming straight towards you.
So to do that, there's a way to do it, but it's gonna be dependent on where your section is. So let me get this here. Get the sections turned on so I can show you. Here and filters. Here. I must not grab it. What's wrong? It's because of the size of it. Let me just switch my size back to normal.
I love it.
That's fine. Go. Make sure it's not one of your guys, I'll just copy it over. All right, so if you want it to come out looking right at you, the way you draw a pipe in a section, if you don't attach it to anything from the start, it'll place it right on the line. So one of the things I would do if I want it to come at me is I would draw the pipe in here first. So I'd go into the pipe command, choose my system, choose my size, 3/4, and come to my pipe type, threadlet, and I would just place it right here. So when I just place it by itself, it's gonna be on that line. You can see right here, it pops up center of pipe is exact center of the line.
Okay.
And now back in the section, when I trim extend to it, it's gonna take that quickest path. So it's gonna come straight over and straight in. So now I'm gonna have my tap pipe 90 pipe here, and we could select all of it, unselect the tap, and then delete that out. Now, personally, most of the time, I just have a section that I'm rotating 90 degrees anywhere I go. I'll have a plan view and a section open. And I would just rotate my section and put it over here. And then I could draw from the side of it. Doing the same thing, key
Okay.
high. But since I'm attaching to a pipe, it's gonna jump in space back to it and be on that plane. Oh, it's actually better if you start at the pipe and then pull out. To 1/2 inch here, and that'll keep it in line. So if you start at the pipe, it'll be on that pipe's plane. If you don't start with the pipe, it's just gonna be on that section line. Hope you can see that, how that one 45'd over since there wasn't enough space. seeing something like that, I just end up having to go back to a plan view, move it out further. It's not going to get it that way. So with SysQue, we can do it. I just typically don't do it with SysQue. If you guys got Victaulic tools, there's ways to do it with Victaulic tools now as well. And you could pick the degree you want it to come out on. We just haven't implemented any workflows for that tool they have.
No, I don't. Kyle can probably speak to that, but as far as I know, we don't have that.
Yeah, it just came out a couple releases ago, and I just haven't had time to dig into it. I played with it one time maybe, but they've got their tap tool now as well. I believe it's in here. There we go, tap creator. But you guys would have to do button mapping and all that on there. Select it, then go to tap creator. Here. So if you guys have, if Kyle or anybody else ever looks into this, this is one of the things you could do. I'm not sure how it works on verticals. On horizontal pipe, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Is there any other questions on taps I can help with?
No, I think Cody and I were playing around with it this morning, and we actually kind of stumbled upon what you're doing right now, and we were able to actually just make threadlets the way you are doing it right now. And
yeah,
kind of so there's got to be a better way.
Now, see, honestly, I think SysQue's palette is the better way, but it becomes a work sharing issue if you're both going to be using that same pipe type. One person will keep blocking out the other person, and it becomes a nightmare.
Unfortunately, in this situation, Paul's really going to be the only person modeling. So I don't think we'll have any work sharing issues if we choose to go that route.
See, if that's the case, any view you're in, you can take off with a tap. It's just you're gonna Revit's not gonna have the button mapping like fabrication does. So it's not going to include all the pieces in between the tap and that copper line you want to put. So it ends up becoming a manual thing to get in whatever your valve train is going to be in each scenario.
Okay.
All right, that's clear as mud.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, yeah, our best option is what you and Cody came across earlier today, which is just moving the pipe around, changing size, putting it back in. And I can, so then what I can do with the Vic tool is I can look into the tap creator, Paul, see if that helps out any. You mentioned, Paul, earlier, you said you're something about placing a coupling and it wasn't allowing you to place the coupling and you were getting close to a reducer. I was having trouble visualizing it. Could you walk Jeremy through that?
I can. If you want to give me screen sharing capabilities, I'll take you right to it.
Okay. Whoa. I just made you the presenter.
Okay. And Jeremy, if we start over here, you should be able to see my screen now. Yes, you see these 3 risers right here? You're muted, so I'm assuming you can hear me, but Kyle, I know you'll understand, but I mean, as far as us placing a threadlet is just...
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I can see them.
Okay, so you can see where my threadlet is there, and I can just simply tell it where I want it to be. You know, blue is to you, so blue is coming right at me. Click. There the thing is, I can click here, and I can just simply go up here and change the size. So I think perhaps I got a little spoiled with this because it's so easy. So I can change that to whatever size I want, you know, and then the threadlet's there. So I think, like I said, I think maybe I was a little spoiled, so I'll...
And see, with Victalic tools, there's ways of doing that after you get it placed, but not as you're placing it.
Okay, so right now that is technically placed. So with Victalic, you're saying you'd have to go back and then touch it again, and then you can move it around?
Yeah, Victalic has made tools in order to rotate it after it's placed.
Okay, which that wouldn't be the worst either. Okay, enough on that. So this is thermoform. I didn't want to. No, it's not. That's extrusion. So thermoform is here. So this is kind of one of the examples I wanted to show you. When I first started kind of getting into thermoform today, while I was in extrusion for the last couple of days, I came over here. This particular coupling right here was white. I'm not sure why, so I just, you know, simply got rid of it. And
if it was white, it probably wasn't connected.
Okay. So I got rid of it just cause, and then I copied one from here to move it over because I couldn't find a way, as simple as it sounds, just simply come over here to the pallet, grab a coupling, and place it. So as rudimentary as this sounds, something as simple as placing a coupling is even different in SysQue than what I'm used to. So,
yeah, and this particular shot too, it reminds me I got to get you guys the NWD with viewpoints in it, because the instance we're looking at right now too is going to have to shift in order to get control valves in between the isolation and the reducer. So I've got to get you guys that NWD still.
Okay, so that this whole header here has to drop down, so we have room to get that in.
Yeah, it's going to have, well, not necessarily drop down. It's probably going to have to shift towards or away from us right now, and everything rotate on a 90 and come up with an elbow in order to get that in there. Because I'm not sure how far you're going to be able to come down with it.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, that header's got a strainer on the vertical because how large they wanted all their piping going into some of these pumps.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd have to look at it more closely, but we could almost put those. Let me get us a little bit better view here, because I know exactly what you're talking about. We could almost put that strainer in this horizontal piece.
Yeah, the only issue is if we point it down, it's not. We're not going to be able to pull the strainer.
Mm-hmm.
We'd end up having to point it off to Cock 145 or to
Right.
burn that too. I was trying to get them to get bucket strainers for it, but they weren't having it.
Okay. Well, with that being said, it looks like we can drop this thing technically, however long that piece is. What is that, 148?
Yeah, and the control is going to end up being a butterfly. Just need to be able to get in the plane this for. Yeah, but I don't think they gave you guys access to our BIM 360 project yet. I'm going to talk to Jeff and make sure they get that stuff to you. Somewhere we can share files, or I can put it. I can put it on your Bluebeam session.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can show you how to get the couplings in if you'd like.
Yeah, let me move that section back, and then 'cause that's kind of a simple little area.
So Jeremy, we set up a Bluebeam project that Jeff has been uploading some stuff into, so we might have it.
Yeah, I got an invite to it. I'll just look at your guys' folder structure to see if there's somewhere to drop it in there for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just too big of a file to email last week.
Yeah, we tend to use Bluebeam as for our distribution of our bigger files, just because email's so hit or miss.
Well, Kyle, if you want, we can give control back to Jeremy if he wants to run through a simple add, move, or whatever of couplings and that sort of thing.
There we go.
All right, so first I'll show you the rotating with the out tools. So it's pretty simple. Let me get just one piece. With their tool, you have rotate selection. So you select whatever you want to rotate. Let me make sure. Yeah, my mic is on. So select whatever you want to rotate. Select their tool, rotate selection. And now you want to pick the center line of the object you want to be in the axis. So in this case, it would be this pipe. And then it pops up a dialog box for you, so you can rotate it around. So if I'm tweaking stuff in a 3D view, I'd use this a lot, just because then I can visualize things a little bit better, how it's going to be set up for both headers or all four headers together. And when you close, it places that movement.
Okay.
Now for couplings, I would have to switch to my pipe spec, the palette that's going to be for my grooved. And for SysQue, we've got at the very top, there's process fittings only. If this is checked, it only puts couplings on the fittings. It doesn't cut in your lengths of pipe. So if I go to draw pipe in here, it is going to put in the elbows and always zoom in too quick. There we go. So it'll put the elbows and it'll put in the couplings for it. Now, if I ever have a case here, if I connect pipe to fitting, it's going to just automatically do it. So I'll connect it this way. So right now, if this is connected and it doesn't have a coupling in it, I could select my pipe and come to place couplings. Oh, there it goes. And that'll get it in there. With reducers, it should function similar. Let's see, 3-inch. A lot of times I'll select all of it here. If it's generic, so I'll just come to change type. There. Oh, so it changed our type, but it didn't get our couplings. Couplings. It still doesn't want to get them. Unbelievable.
As you're doing this, I'm trying this on that little section view sample that I showed you earlier, and it's not allowing me to place them either.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just reducers.
It's just
Because I've never had an issue on the pipes.
I'm gonna try to delete another coupling here.
Yeah, so if it ever gave me issues, I just I would do it manually. And you were saying it wouldn't let you do it manually?
No, it would not.
All right, so in here, if I drag it in, so what I do is left click hold, drag it in, get over here and connect to either side. Oh, there goes my view. And then I jump back to Victolic Tools again and use their Connect Any tool. You can drag the connectors back and forth. It's just a lot of this stuff I have set up to keyboard shortcuts, so I can just one button on my mouse, get it in there. You. Get it reconnected.
Okay, that seems to be kind of one of the things is your couplings are, and that's kind of slightly backwards of what I'm used to, is your couplings are on your fittings first, and then you're moving the fitting with the coupling on it.
Yeah, so for the Any Connect tool, it won't grow the pipe if I select it, if I select it second, but basically whatever you click first is going to stay. Whatever you click second is going to move to it. Now, if I did it the other way, here, if I select this one, then pipe, you'll see the whole thing moves. This one here.
Okay, this is similar to the align command then, yes?
Yes, but so it's aligning it, but it's actually connecting it at the connectors again. Okay. So if I drag this out, it regains its intelligence, everything moves with it. Well, okay. if we just align it, if we go here and align here to there, technically those connectors aren't connected. So if I ever drag this out, that's not going to move with it.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so I always make sure I connect them by the connectors, and Victolic Tools just makes it really quick to do it.
Hey, you just made a macro for your mouse for that, right?
Yeah, I've got macros on my mouse for everything.
Yeah. So it sounds like what we need to do, Paul, is we need to get Vic Tools installed on your machine too. And do you think it'd be helpful, Paul, if we wrote a couple, or we recorded a couple macros for your mouse as you're doing this? You know, in this case, using Any Connect instead of Align, and
yeah. So on us, we've got keyboard shortcuts we kick out to our guys for some of these extra tools so they could use them. Procurement tools, rotating selection. Delete pipe is nice as well.
Oh, and answer your question, Kyle, yeah, I think that would help. I've been sort of stumbling through and making progress, but I think my progress could be much more efficient if I had I totally
Okay.
lost my train of thought as I was watching Jeremy. I totally lost what I was saying, so I was paying attention to what he was doing here. But so yeah, I think that those items would help for sure.
Okay.
Is there anything else you guys would like to go over?
There's probably about 500 things, Jeremy, but I won't keep you. I've learned enough, I think, right now where I can continue on with what I was doing. I think it's just gonna be a little bit of time in the saddle too. I mean, I've only been in the thing for going on 2 days, and it was just getting a little frustrating because it was not making the progress I wanted to. But I guess you probably know more than anybody when you're learning something new, it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, especially with the workflows being so different between Revit native and fabrication.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I just saw Revit 2021. Finally, they've got optimized lengths for your pipe, because it used to only function on fabrication piping. But they finally got that pulled in, so we can use that on Revit native objects as well.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah, so it's only a couple more years until the two things become one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I was playing around with SysQue this morning, kind of just drawing pipe, out in the parking lot of Project 40, and it was kind of, I did not have the process fittings only checkbox, so I was watching put in all the couplings at 21 feet, which was kind of cool. That was nice.
Yeah, and you could always do it afterwards too if you just have pipe in here that's 100 feet long. It'll allow us to process that. So here, look at that one. I'll change the system just in case. System here. And then we've got it. Looks like it's set to 20 feet. Oh, 21 foot on this pallet I got.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks with that is you don't get to pick which side is the 21 foot stick. So a lot of the times, if I wanted the 21 foot stick over here, I'd end up just shifting it of the whole middle section over what I want it to be.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you can't pick which side is going to be that 21 foot. It's all in which direction it was originally drawn.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, Paul, why don't I give you Jeremy's number, and then for the most part, Paul, have you guys been working on this meeting all day, or have you been going to the main MLP marathon meeting?
I'm having a real hard time hearing you, Kyle. There's a lot of background noise. It sounds like Jeremy has kids at home.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got a 13-month-old.
All right, go, Kyle.
So, so I guess what meeting, Paul, have you guys been using this piping plumbing meeting most of the day, or have you guys been using the marathon meeting?
Cody and I have been using this pipe and plumbing meeting primarily because we didn't want to bog down everybody else with our long drawn out conversations about setting stuff up,
Yeah.
So it's been primarily this one.
Okay. So, why don't I give you guys Jeremy's contact information, and we'll just keep that meeting going, and then anytime that we we covered a couple things today, mostly about the threadlets and the coupling, but any little thing, you know, just you can ping him with a message and then he can jump on when it's convenient for him. Is that good for you, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's good with me. I'll be in and out of this model as well as my other ones often, so it's no issue.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll what time are you what's your end of day today for Paul?
I've been working until 4.
Okay.
There's lots to do, so tomorrow will be a little bit different. I have a doctor's appointment, but regardless, it's usually been until 4 o'clock.
Okay. So yeah, why don't we hop in right now and get Vic tools installed, so then we can start using some of these tools that he showed us, and then I can spend some time. I'll spend some time this afternoon putting some of the mouse commands together, and then I'll give you hopefully we'll be able to give you a profile for the commands tomorrow, so you can start using your mouse commands.
That'll work. That'd be good.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you hopping on and helping us out, Jeremy.
Oh, sure thing. Yeah, and I'm going to be uploading that file right now to the Bluebeam Studio for you guys.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Thanks for the help, Jeremy.
Yep.
All right, Kyle, what are you thinking? You want to kick Jeremy off, and we can do what we got to do?
Hey, it looks like he kicked himself off.
Awesome. Yeah.
So let me locate the install file first.
Okay, I'm going to close this.
Oh, wow. And I need to find, Mike sent me over the licensing information too, so.
Okay. Hey, Kyle, I'll be back in a few. I'm syncing my Thunderbird Revit 2020 so I can close that, and then I'm going to refill my beverage, and then it's not cocktail hour by any means, so don't get that idea. It's just water. But anyway, give me a few and I'll be right back, okay?
All right, cool.
Okay.
Okay. All right, in 2019. What is configuration? Gas and oh, we just have the one.
Bro,
What's up?
Hey, I got to get my timesheet over to Lily, so give me a few and I will be back.
Okay.
Al, do you know how to use AutoCAD? Because I forgot.
What's up?
You know how to use AutoCAD? I forgot.
You know how to use it better than I do.
Fucking hate it, dude. What'd you do to me?
What I do to I spoiled you with Revit. What do you have to use CAD for? That
Visiting quarters.
project?
Thank God it's the as-built, so that means we're finally almost done with this job.
Oh, visiting quarters, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one. So that SysQue is fun, huh?
It. I think she already showed us a couple things that'll be helpful, but it's one of those kind of unlearning all the habits and stuff that we had.
Yeah, I think if you learn that from the beginning and that's all you used, it would be easy, right? Or easier.
Yeah. Still comparing the two side by side, I still prefer fabrication over it.
Yeah. I think the database management side of it seems to be a little more user friendly, but as far as in modeling and all that, not so much. It doesn't seem to communicate with Revit as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like, I think if me and you spent a good fucking 80 hours fucking with the settings and the database and all that stuff, we could probably make it work the way we want it to, but I don't want to do too much of that when it's not ours to do it with, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, see car fixed.
Yeah, car's fixed. They just swapped out the battery, so I'm gonna go pick it up later today.
You just swapped out the battery. You did a whole fucking engine swap on that thing, huh?
No, so it's got a small 12-volt battery.
Ah.
That's like when you open the door and the lights come on, that's all it's used for. Or starting the vehicle. So because that was dead, the vehicle wouldn't start up at all. But it's all covered, so I'm just a little bit of a headache is all.
Those are surely the fucking worst. I hate car problems. I had to replace Katie's battery like a couple weeks ago, and I was not happy about it.
No. It always comes at a time where you're like, right now, really? Why?
Pretty much. And I'm pretty sure right now is like the worst time for anything like that too. Like at all.
Mm-hmm.
Everything fucking going on and shit. What the hell? I guess that'll work. Man, these are a mess.
Mm-hmm.